So I'm going to say that again. So the formula for the volume of a cylinder is the area of a circle, pi r squared times the height. I'm not going to be multiplying the pi out, so pi will be in the answer. So on number 1, what should we plug in our calculators?
2 squared. Wait, no, I'm like
Seven
that.
That's a 7.
What page is it?
Pi
72?
times 9.
Okay, 7 squared times pi times 9. But really we're only doing the 7 squared times 9 part. So what's 49 times 9? 57. 441, is that it? So for number 1 you can just put, gosh darn it, 441 pi.
I can refill the sorry.
Okay, number 3. Same thing. It doesn't matter if they're slanted, you still use the straight up and down heights that they give us. So, Elena, how about number 3? What should we plug in?
4 squared pi times 15.
4 squared pi times 15. Let's see. 4 times 15 is 60, times 4 is 240. Remember, order of multiplication doesn't matter, so I'm kind of doing it out of order. 15 times 4 is 60, times 4 is 240. Or just use your calculator. Oh, I forgot something. What did I forget on number 1?
The units cubed.
Forgive me for I have sinned. Units cubed. Number 5. Cadence, how about 5?
It'd be 11 times 11 times 19, which is 2,291.
2291 pi units cubed. Okay, something is different on number 6. Okay, they give you the diameter, so what's your first step? Divide, right, turn the 24 diameter into a 12 radius. Okay, number 7, a cylindrical gas tank, so it's just a cylinder, has a lateral surface area, oh no. Man, that took a sharp turn, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
How do we find lateral surface area? We actually did this once upon a time.
Circumference.
I don't think I put it on the test, but we did it on the homework.
Circumference times 2 times pi.
Okay, yeah, perimeter, because remember if you unroll it like a piece of paper, it's just a rectangle, so it's just the perimeter is like the length of a rectangle times the height. Or yeah, circumference times height. So 2r pi is circumference
And then there's 2 is
times the height. That would give you, that's the lateral surface area formula. That's a toughie. Alright, let me keep reading. The lateral surface area is supposed to be 300 pi. So I'm just going to say that equals 300 pi. What else does it say? And it's 15 feet high. So we know the height. The smart board is not behaving today. Wow, wasn't even close to what I was put down here. 15 was the height. What happens to those pies?
They would
Great.
cancel out.
Right, if you divide both sides by pi, they just cancel out. So 2 times 15 is what?
30.
30. So 30 times the radius is supposed to equal 300. So the radius is 10.
On the lateral surface area, do you have to multiply it by 2 to get the 2 bases?
No, lateral surface area means this stuff, not any of the
Not
bases.
total surface area.
Not total surface area. So it's only this stuff. So if we were doing total surface area, it would have been that plus 2 pi r squared
Okay.
for the top and bottom. Okay, now what was the question? How many cubic feet of gas? So it's a volume question, basically. So now we have the radius. No, we need to find the volume. We had the height from earlier, it was 15. So, what's the volume gonna, or how do I find the volume? How many cubic feet will the tank hold? If they're asking for cubic feet, cubic inches, cubic whatever, that's a volume question. What was the formula we've been using? R squared times pi times height. So 10 squared is 100 times 15, 1500 times pi, which we're gonna leave alone. They probably actually gave us units on this one, didn't they? Feet cubed. Cubic feet. Eight is kind of similar. You got to use some algebra a little bit, but it's actually slightly easier. Number 9, a cylinder is lodged inside a square prism. A square prism means the base is square. If it was a cube, they would have just said cube. Inside a square prism similar to the figure shown. How many cubic inches are within the prism but outside the cylinder? So what's the gap, they're saying? How much can you fit in the gap? So what's the game plan? Anybody got a game plan for 9? Right. The volume of the outside, the box, the square prism. Take away the volume of the cylinder and that will leave you the gap between the two. So how do we find the volume of the square prism?
Well, you have to.
18 squared times 26.
Okay. Yeah. If the radius of the circle on the bottom is 9, then how much is it all the way across? 18. So the length and the width of the base is 18 by 18. And the height is 26. So 18 times 18 times 26 will give us, what, somebody who's plugged that in, tell me what that is. Okay, since we're actually subtracting these, let's go ahead and multiply pi out and turn it into a decimal, so we can actually get an answer. You can't subtract like 30 pi from 70, it doesn't mix. So we're actually going to multiply pi on this one. So how about the volume of the cylinder? How would I find that?
9 squared times pi times 26.
Okay, 9, geez, it's getting worse by the second, times pi times 26. Let me see if this happens. Fix it. Here's my rules of thumb with dealing with technology. Talk to it sweetly first, and if that doesn't work, start hitting it. Also good with people. All right. Has anybody plugged that in yet?
Yeah. 6,616.2.
Probably shouldn't have recorded that. You heard nothing. Go back and edit it later. Okay. What's the difference between those two? The book says 1808. Is that what you got?
I got 1807.8, so yeah. Same thing.
How do we label that? 1808.
Unit squared.
Is it inches? We're talking about inches here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, number 11, the circumference of a cylinder is 86 pi. Alright, let's pause there. What was the circumference thing again?
Diameter,
Well, okay.
Two.
Or, diameter or 2r
pi.
pi equals 86 pi. So what can I figure out from that? Divide by pi, right? Divide by 2. Radius is 43. Now let's keep reading and see what else they want. They didn't even ask for that, but we're probably going to need it, right? And the height is 63. Okay. Find the surface. Oh, surface area. Trouble in paradise. Surface area is a lot more. We kind of talked about it on an earlier problem. But surface area, you got to do the lateral surface area, which remember that from an earlier problem, plus the area of the two bases. The two bases are circles, so you got two circle areas plus 2 pi r squared. So surface area is actually a lot harder than volume, because there's a lot more stuff you have to do. Volume is the easy. This chapter is actually easier than back when we did surface area. Alright, you gotta plug all that stuff in. The radius is 43. I guess we're leaving pi alone again. The height is 63. And 43. So, remember order of operations, you save the addition for the end. What's 2 times 43 times 63?
5,418.
Pi plus, what's 2 times 43 squared?
3,698.
98.
Mhm.
Do those two go together?
Mhm.
Yeah, if they're both pi's, yeah, you can add them together. And what's that? It's like 9,000 something?
16.
Say again?
9,116.
How should I label this?
Meters.
Meters what? Oh,
Squared.
squared.
Yeah.
Because why? It's an area. This is a two-dimensional measurement. That's how many squares we could like tape onto the side of the prism. That's how many we fit on there. A lot. So it's a very big cylinder. That's a square meter, which is, like so that'd be like a water tub. Oh, and the volume. The volume's the easier part. How do we do volume again? Pi r squared h, right? Pi r squared h.
The big number.
It's a big number. What'd it come to? 116,487.
Oh, times 63.
If it's a cube one,
Pi meters cubed, cubic meters. That was a lot of work, wasn't it? So when would you want to, like, if that was a water tower problem, when would you want to know surface area? If you're like painting the outside, when would you want to know volume? How much water can the water tower hold? Okay, 13. A cylindrical piece of iron has a diameter of 2 inches. Okay, if the diameter is 2 inches, what? The diameter of the diameter of the iron is 2 inches, then what else? Do we know? Radius is one. Now, we've been using radius, right? That's the more important thing. That's the radius. This would be very zoomed in because it's almost only 2 inches. The radius is 1. Yes. Okay, what's it say? And a length of 16 inches. What does that mean, length of 16 inches? That'd be like the height, right? If it is melted down and poured into a rectangular mold that has a 1 by 3 inch base, what will be the length of the rectangular piece of iron? Alright, you guys know what they're saying. They're gonna melt the metal from this. It's supposed to be a little, what is it? Just a piece of iron. It's supposed to be a little rod of iron. They're gonna melt it down and put it into like a rectangular prism mold. So with the base being, they're gonna like pour it in. The base is a 3 by 1 rectangle. So how tall will it get? Okay. So anyway, we're gonna start with the volume on this thing. So what's the volume of this?
16.
1 times 1 times 16 times pi, right? So 16 pi. Yeah, we're gonna need the pi to be multiplied out because there is no pi over here.
So 50.24.
Okay, 50.24 is the volume of this, inches cubed. Okay, that kind of tells you how much. So we're gonna be making a, rectangular prism over here. Like pouring it in, see how tall it gets. So basically, how do you find the volume of a rectangular prism?
Length times width times height.
3 times 1 times the height, right? So the volume of this prism is going to be the same as because all the stuff is the same, right? So 3 times 1 times h is supposed to be equal to 50.24.
24 divided by 3.
Right. So basically you just divide by 3.
What number are we going to?
14. We're done. I'm done. If you guys got trouble, especially, on number 8 and 10, those problems you can ask. I think they're pretty similar to what we did, but you can still ask. All right.